Stop pulling weeds every single weekend. What if 10 strategic plant choices could take that chore off your hands almost entirely? I'm not talking about a gimmick or a one-season fluke. I'm talking about plants that professional landscapers have relied on for decades because they grow so densely and root so efficiently that weeds simply run out of room and light to survive. Today I'm walking you through 10 of the very best weed-suppressing plants you can add to your garden, from fragrant Mediterranean classics to shade-loving champions for the spots where nothing else seems to grow. For each one, I'll cover exactly how it blocks weeds, the conditions it needs to thrive, and the small care habits that keep it performing year after year. If low-maintenance, high-beauty gardening sounds like your kind of Saturday, stick around, because your future weeding-free self is going to thank you. Let's get into it. Plant 1. Lavender. Lavender is the plant most people picture first when they think of a fragrant, low-maintenance border, and it earns that reputation honestly. Its dense, woody growth habit and narrow, silvery leaves form a tight canopy that shades the soil directly beneath and around each plant, leaving weed seeds with little light or space to germinate. Lavender is native to the rocky, sun-baked hillsides of the Mediterranean, so it's genuinely happiest in full sun and lean, fast-draining soil. Heavy, waterlogged ground is really the only thing that gives it trouble. For best results, space plants roughly 18 to 24 inches apart so the mature foliage eventually knits together into a continuous, weed-resistant hedge. A light layer of gravel or grit mulch around the base helps with drainage and adds an extra barrier against weed seedlings while the plants are still filling in. Once established, lavender needs surprisingly little from you. An annual pruning right after the flowers fade keeps the plant compact and encourages the dense new growth that does most of the weed-blocking work. Avoid heavy fertilizer, which pushes soft, floppy growth and actually opens gaps in the canopy. English lavender varieties like Hidcote and Munstead are the most cold-hardy and reliable for weed-suppressing hedges, while French and Spanish lavenders offer earlier blooms in milder climates. Beyond the weed control, you get months of purple flower spikes that are excellent for cutting, drying, and cooking, and the scent is genuinely off-putting to deer and rabbits, so it does extra duty as a browsing deterrent along the edges of your garden beds. Plant 2. Sweet Alyssum. Don't let the tiny flowers fool you. Sweet Alyssum is one of the fastest, most thorough ground covers you can grow from seed, and it works by pure density. It germinates quickly, spreads low and wide within a matter of weeks, and forms a carpet so tight that weed seedlings simply can't find an opening to push through. It's an annual in most climates, but it self-seeds so reliably that many gardeners never have to replant it once it's established in a bed. Sweet Alyssum tolerates a wide range of soil types and does best in full sun to light shade with moderate moisture, though established plants handle heat and short dry spells without much fuss. The easiest approach is direct sowing. Scatter seed along bed edges between young perennials or in gaps where you want fast coverage, then keep the soil lightly moist until germination. Because it grows so low, it works beautifully as a living mulch around taller plants, filling in the bare soil that would otherwise invite weeds. One thing worth knowing: in hot climates, Sweet Alyssum can look tired by midsummer. A hard trim back to about 2 inches after the first flush of bloom usually triggers fresh growth and a second wave of flowers into fall. The evening fragrance is an added bonus, a honey-sweet scent that intensifies as temperatures cool, and it's a strong pollinator draw for hoverflies and other beneficial insects that help keep pest populations in check elsewhere in the garden. Plant 3. Creeping Thyme. Creeping thyme is a low, woody herb that forms an aromatic, ground-hugging mat, and it's one of the toughest weed-suppressing plants you can put in a sunny, dry spot. Its wiry stems root as they spread, gradually knitting into a dense surface layer that leaves weeds with essentially no exposed soil to colonize. It's particularly well-suited to gravel gardens, rock gardens, and the gaps between stepping stones, where it tolerates light foot traffic and releases a pleasant herbal scent when brushed or stepped on. This plant wants full sun and sharp drainage above almost anything else. Poorly drained soil is the fastest way to lose a stand of creeping thyme, so if your soil is heavy clay, work in coarse sand or grit before planting, or use it in raised beds and container edges instead. Once established, it's remarkably drought-tolerant and needs almost no supplemental feeding. Rich soil actually tends to produce looser, less weed-resistant growth. Plant small starts 12 to 18 inches apart and be patient during the first year while the mat fills in. This is the window when hand weeding between plants is still necessary. By year 2, established creeping thyme should be dense enough to outcompete most annual weeds on its own. In early summer, it covers itself in small pink, white, or red blooms that draw in bees and other pollinators, making it as functional as it is attractive along pathway edges. Plant 4. Stonecrop. Stonecrop, more commonly sold as Sedum, is a succulent ground cover built for exactly the conditions that defeat most other weed-suppressing plants. Hot, dry, poor soil with reflected heat from pavement or rock. Its fleshy, water-storing leaves form a dense, low mat that shades out competition while requiring almost no irrigation once roots are established. This makes it one of the best choices for slopes, gravel beds, and the strips along driveways or sidewalks where watering is impractical. Sedum needs full sun and, above all, excellent drainage. Like most succulents, it will rot in soil that stays consistently wet. Low, spreading varieties such as Dragon's Blood or Angelina are the ones to look for specifically for weed suppression, since taller, clumping sedums leave more open soil between plants. Space small plugs or cuttings close together, around 8 to 12 inches apart, since sedum is one of the easiest plants to propagate. A single broken-off stem will readily root in loose soil, which is exactly the trait that lets it fill in bare patches so efficiently. Beyond weed control, sedum tolerates foot traffic better than most ground covers, handles heat and humidity without complaint, and produces a flush of star-shaped flowers in late summer that are a major late-season draw for bees and butterflies. Maintenance is close to zero. An occasional trim to keep it within bounds is really all it asks for. Plant 5. Creeping Jenny. Creeping Jenny, also sold as moneywort, spreads through trailing stems that root wherever they touch soil, which lets it expand its coverage rapidly once established. Its round, coin-shaped leaves in bright chartreuse or golden green form a dense mat that blocks light from reaching the soil's surface, and because it roots as it travels, any gaps in coverage tend to close in on their own over a season or two. This is one of the more adaptable plants on this list. It handles full sun to fairly deep shade, though the golden foliage colors best with at least a few hours of direct light each day. It prefers consistently moist soil and is a strong choice for the damp, low-lying spots in a yard that are often too soggy for other ground covers, but established plantings tolerate short dry spells without much trouble. It also looks striking cascading over retaining walls, spilling from hanging baskets, or trailing along the edges of a pond. A word of caution: creeping Jenny can spread more aggressively than gardeners expect in consistently moist, fertile soil, so it's worth giving it a defined bed edge, a paved border, or occasional trimming to keep it contained where you want it. Used intentionally, though, it becomes one of the most reliable, low-effort ground covers available, filling difficult spots with color while leaving weeds no room to establish. Plant 6. Hardy Geranium. Hardy geranium, often called Cranesbill, isn't the potted geranium sold in garden center hanging baskets. It's a tough, clump-forming perennial with attractive lobed foliage that mounds up densely enough to meaningfully reduce weed germination in the soil around and beneath it. It's one of the more versatile plants here, with varieties suited to full sun and others bred specifically for partial shade, which makes it useful for filling in the transitional zones of a garden where light conditions shift through the day. Hardy geraniums tolerate a wide range of soil types, from average garden loam to slightly clay-heavy ground, and established clumps handle both moderate drought and occasional wet spells without much stress. Plant them roughly 12 to 18 inches apart depending on the variety's mature spread, and expect a full, weed-suppressing mound within their second growing season. They bloom for weeks at a stretch in shades of pink, purple, magenta, and blue, and many varieties rebloom later in the season if you shear the plant back by about a third after the first flush fades. Beyond weed control, hardy geraniums are largely pest and disease-resistant. Deer generally leave them alone, and they combine well as underplanting beneath roses and other shrubs, filling the bare soil at the base that would otherwise be prime weed territory. Plant 7 Daylilies. Daylilies are grown mainly for their spectacular trumpet-shaped blooms, but below the surface they build a dense network of thick, fibrous, water-storing roots that genuinely outcompete weeds for space, moisture, and nutrients. Above ground, their long, arching leaves add a second layer of defense, forming a canopy that shades the soil and blocks the light many weed seeds need to sprout. Established clumps become progressively more effective at this over time, as the root mass thickens and the leaf coverage fills in completely. Daylilies are famously forgiving. They tolerate heat, drought, poor soil, and general neglect better than almost any other flowering perennial, which is part of why they're such a staple of low-maintenance landscaping. They do best in full sun to light shade and appreciate a season of regular watering while they're getting established, after which they need very little intervention beyond dividing overcrowded clumps every 3 to 5 years, which also gives you free plants to fill in other weed-prone areas of the garden. Each individual bloom lasts only a day, which is where the name comes from, but a mature plant produces so many buds that you get weeks of continuous color. Choose a mix of early, mid, and late-season varieties, and you can stretch that bloom window across most of the summer while your daylilies quietly handle weed suppression underground the entire time. Plant 8 Hostas. For the shady, tricky corners of a yard where little else seems to thrive, hostas are genuinely hard to beat. Their broad, overlapping leaves form a dense canopy that blocks sunlight from reaching the soil, keeping it cool, shaded, and largely inhospitable to weed seed germination. This makes hostas one of the best solutions for the areas under mature trees, along north-facing walls, or in the shadow of a building where sun-loving ground covers simply won't perform. Hostas prefer moist, well-drained soil rich in organic matter, and while most varieties are bred for shade, a surprising number tolerate a few hours of morning sun, particularly the thicker-leaved, more sun-tolerant cultivars. Plant them with enough space to reach their mature spread, since the weed suppression effect comes almost entirely from that broad leaf canopy closing the gaps between plants. Leaf sizes range enormously, from miniature varieties with coin-sized leaves to giants with leaves larger than serving platters, which gives you real flexibility in scale depending on the bed. The one pest worth planning for is slugs, which are drawn to the same moist, shaded conditions hostas thrive in. Copper tape around bed edges or organic slug bait are the standard, low-effort solutions. Many varieties also send up spikes of white or lavender flowers in summer that carry a light, sweet fragrance and reliably attract hummingbirds, adding another layer of interest to what is otherwise a purely foliage-driven ground cover. Plant 9 Ferns. Few plants cover shaded ground as efficiently as ferns. Their spreading underground stems, called rhizomes, travel horizontally and send up new fronds as they go, gradually filling in bare soil and leaving weeds very little open space or light to work with. This is a strategy ferns have been refining for hundreds of millions of years, and it shows in how thoroughly a mature stand can dominate its growing space. Most ferns want consistent moisture and at least partial shade, though tolerance varies quite a bit by species. Some, like Christmas fern, handle drier conditions once established, while others, like royal fern, prefer genuinely damp, boggy ground. Amend planting areas with compost or leaf mold to mimic the rich, moisture-retentive forest floor conditions most ferns evolved in, and mulch generously the first year or two to help retain moisture while the rhizome network is still spreading. Christmas ferns stay evergreen through winter, giving you year-round weed suppression rather than just a warm season effect. Japanese painted ferns bring silvery, almost metallic foliage that shows up beautifully in deep shade. Whichever species you choose, ferns are largely deer-resistant, low maintenance once established, and bring a textural, almost architectural quality to shaded beds that few flowering plants can match, all while quietly closing off any ground weeds might otherwise claim. Plant 10 Lamb's Ear. If you want a drought-tolerant ground cover for a sunny, dry border, Lamb's Ear is an excellent last addition to this list. Its soft, silvery white leaves are covered in fine hairs that give the plant its name and its texture, and they form a dense, low mat that shades the soil thoroughly enough to prevent most weed seedlings from establishing. It's also one of the more tactile plants in this group, which makes it a favorite in gardens designed to be touched, and in beds meant for children or for sensory gardens. Lamb's Ear wants full sun and sharp drainage. Like sedum and creeping thyme, it struggles in soil that stays wet, which can cause the lower leaves to rot. Once established, it's genuinely drought-tolerant and handles poor, lean soil better than most flowering perennials, needing little more than an occasional trim to remove tired foliage and keep the mat looking fresh. In humid climates, providing a bit more airflow between plants helps prevent the leaf rot that excess moisture can encourage. Lamb's Ear sends up tall flower spikes in early summer topped with small purple blooms that bees find hard to resist, though many gardeners choose to trim these off to keep the plant's energy focused on foliage and weed suppression. Either way, it pairs beautifully with lavender and creeping thyme in a sunny, drought-tolerant border, rounding out a planting scheme where nearly every plant is doing double duty as both ornamental feature and weed barrier. 10 plants, one shared purpose, covering ground so thoroughly and rooting so efficiently that weeds simply lose the fight for space, light, and nutrients. Match each one to the sun, shade, and soil conditions it actually wants. Give it a season or two to fill in, and you'll spend far less time on your knees pulling weeds and far more time enjoying a garden that looks after itself. Which one are you planting first? Let me know in the comments, and if this helped, subscribe for more practical, low-effort gardening advice. See you in the next one.